morning, good evening, good afternoon. Finally into quarterback rankings for the USFL. Pretty pumped about that. We've been grinding with XFL quarterback rankings. I just posted my USFL preseason quarterback rankings, and we're going to do a little bit of a in-depth of each quarterback listed. I did 14 compared to the 16 from the XFL. A little bit of movement in the XFL. Obviously, USFL looks like things are kind of settled. About 2.5 weeks going into the season for the left until the season for the USFL. Uber excited about that. It's about a little over 3 weeks, probably 2.5 when the video comes out. But overall, once again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna get right into it. Number 14 coming up is Dakota Prukop. He was recently signed by the New Jersey Generals around the first week of March, end of February. Prukop comes from the CFL. He's been there since 2017. He won a Grey Cup, but he had a pretty awesome FCS career before finishing up at Oregon. Mainly in the CFL, he was used as a third down QB. Obviously, in the CFL, the defense lines up a yard from the ball. It gives him a more advantageous position, and it's obviously 3 downs. So on that third down, a lot of QB sneaks on those third and shorts and whatnot. Prukop's been around. He's 29 years old right now. Originally from Austin, Texas, born in California. Has played with the Argos, the Stampeders, the Elks, and the Blue Bombers. Won a Grey Cup in 2017 as a third-string quarterback. Guy's been around the block. He played with some pretty awesome CFL quarterbacks like McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Ricky Ray. Ironically, he was in Jaime Elizondo's system. He played with Case Cookus in Edmonton in 2021. 61 games in the CFL, only one start. He's thrown 70 passes, 648 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. Mainly used as a rusher, like I talked about with that kind of, to some it's wonky. I think it's great, but over his rushing career, he had 91 attempts, 382 yards, 8 touchdowns last year was his biggest role. He had 53 rushing attempts, 209 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Guy was a stud at Montana State, winning FCS honors. Uh, Only started 5 games at Oregon. A little bit disappointing for some people. You'd like to see more, which is part of the reason why he didn't go to the NFL, in my opinion. A very limited sample size, but won a couple awards in college. Was all Big Sky twice. First team All American in 2015 at Montana State. Guy's not the biggest guy out there, but he's got a good frame at 6'2", 215 or 6'1", 215. Has enough experience as a running quarterback, but I think he was brought in mostly to compete with maybe spell DeAndre Johnson if the team decides to go 3 quarterbacks active, or if he's the number 2 quarterback. Kind of, even though DeAndre Johnson is way more athletic, he's obviously not the greatest passer. But on those designed run plays, I think Prukop could be utilized in that sense. Not the strongest arm, but obviously with the new USFL coming back, Prukop made a decision to come back. He's having a child. He hasn't ruled out returning to the CFL, honestly, but the guy's going to make around 61K or 60K compared to the 51,000 he was getting in the CFL. It'd be pretty cool to see if he goes back to the CFL and kind of double dips a little bit. Obviously, with a shorter season, higher tax rate in Canada, or maybe he decides to stay down here. He's been very vocal about wanting to actually play. Crazy, right? A professional athlete wants to play, but he also wants to become a coach as well. Been talking about, learning more, and obviously for a backup quarterback, that's the best position to set yourself up with coaching. He's 29 years old. He's at the point in his career he just wants to be the guy at an offense. And while DeAndre Johnson seems to be QB1 going into camp, let's not rule out the fact that after Ben Holmes was released, him and Luis Perez shared a lot of reps where Johnson was the rusher, Perez was the thrower. I don't think Prukop has the same arm as Perez, and granted, Perez has hard times putting zip on the ball. He's more of that game manager deluxe in these alt leagues. However, if Mike Riley decides to go all in with one quarterback, I could see it being Prukop because he does have a better arm than Johnson. However, it's not as good as Lauletta, but Lauletta is a little bit limited athletically, which is part of the reason why I think Johnson gets the majority of these snaps in the early season. Obviously, there were some injuries last year that forced Johnson to kind of take that step back. But moving forward, I do like what Prukop's got going on. I'm excited to see him get an opportunity, and I think we'll see him on the field. I don't know if he grades out to be a top, 4 quarterback in this league or top 5, but I do think he'll put some decent amount of highlights going forward that could hopefully raise his financial standing, which is his goal in the CFL. Thanks, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate your time.